The original Superhot blew people's minds by offering a completely original take on the first-person shooter. In this digital world, time only moves when you do. This gives you potentially godlike reflexes and accuracy, but also increases the danger as enemies swarm each area and immediately shoot on sight. Mind Control Delete was originally intended to be DLC, but over the last 4 years, it ballooned into a standalone game. It's packed with inspired ways to build upon what made Superhot unique, but the whole experience is bogged down by a repetitive level structure and a rambling narrative that doesn't really go anywhere. Most levels start by placing you in a precarious position, forced to arm yourself or seek cover quickly. The glossy red enemies drop their black weapons when punched or struck with a blunt object, allowing you to snatch a weapon out of midair. You can track individual bullets as they're fired and attempt to dodge them or deflect them back if you find a katana. Bad guys spawn from bright doorways, and when they don't get stuck on each other or the environment, they will stop at nothing to track you down. The shooting and melee combat is better than in the first game. Mind Control Delete consistently introduces new elements and the challenge ramps up in unpredictable ways. The best of the new guns is a hydraulic rifle that spits bullets faster than anything else. All of the areas are new, with standouts like a disco where there are few places to hide, and the Superhot theme plays faster or slower depending on your movement. The number of throwable items has increased dramatically, and it's satisfying to stun one target with the typewriter and then chuck a screwdriver into another enemy's face. Even more impactful are the new hacks and cores you gradually unlock, which help you tweak the game to your liking. Cores are abilities that operate on a cooldown, like Charge, which lets you teleport forward and smack a target. Meanwhile, hacks are cheats that you can activate before certain levels that give you bonuses like adding more ammo to your guns or transforming each throwable item into a grenade that sprays bullets when it breaks. Anyone who has spent time with Superhot before should get a kick out of these upgrades. They change the way you approach each area and often amplify the power trip the series is known for. Cores and hacks come in handy when dealing with an array of deadly new threats that become more common as you make progress. Enemies with spikes protruding from their body will shatter into a wave of bullets when they die, teaching you to destroy them from a distance or to find shelter before they hit the floor. You can run into them at the worst possible moment, but you can also get lucky and have the flak take out other targets. Even more imposing are 3 boss-like enemies that randomly spawn and hunt you relentlessly. Each one has a signature ability like leaping toward you, and since they can't be killed, you need to avoid them while clearing the requisite number of targets from each level. All of these additions make the provided tools more powerful, while also increasing the difficulty, encouraging you to stay aware of your surroundings at all times. Bullets and baseball bat-wielding enemies can sneak up on you, so it pays to remember the layout of each area and keep an eye on spawn points if you're near them. Superhot is all about staying on your toes and improvising with the objects closest to you. While the new stuff is fun and worth experimenting with if you're fond of the series, the real reason all of this works is because the gameplay foundation is so strong in the first place. Moving, stabbing, and shooting in pseudo-slow motion can be exhilarating no matter what you end up using. That's why it's so unfortunate that all of the clever updates are overshadowed by a dull, obtuse, and slow level structure. To make your way through Mind Control Delete, you cross a grid and activate nodes that begin levels, unlock hacks and cores, or give you a small dose of the story. Level nodes require you to clear several stages before you can move on, and you're given 3 hearts to last you through the whole run. If you run out of hearts, you go back to the beginning of the node and start the process all over again. This jumbling of levels and hacks makes each node completely random, only spiced up by the introduction of more difficult threats and the occasional warping of each location's design. The randomness would work if the game wasn't excessively long. You keep returning to the same areas, using the same handful of guns, and although you're encouraged to experiment with new hacks, it's natural to fall back on your favorites when you discover what's most effective and fits your playstyle. The node layouts transform the frantic combat into an exhausting marathon. It'd be one thing if it added more to do upon a second playthrough, or had a conclusion that called upon all of the skills you developed. But it's just a bunch of similar levels stacked back to back. After a while, it achieves the unthinkable by making Superhot tiring to play. Despite all the fancy tweaks to the gameplay, not much has changed with Superhot's visuals. The environments are intentionally bright and bare, calling attention to each enemy and projectile coming your way, and the general absence of music emphasizes the sound effects to further assist you in avoiding danger. There are a few genuinely trippy sequences that you won't find in other shooters, but there are also plenty of droll, playable cutscenes that seem to tell the same chapter of the story over and over. Mind Control Delete, as the name suggests, loves to mess with your brain, and its antics are unavoidable whether you feel in on the joke or not. The ending credits play after only one level, on-screen text is constantly reinforcing any negative feelings you might have, and the ending is an unprecedented trial in patience that is intentionally confusing and comically but annoyingly long. It would be wonderful if this trollish behavior amounted to anything significant or relevant by the time you reach the final screen, but it only appears to exist to stretch out what could and should be a much shorter and more accessible game. The joyous carnage of Superhot remains solid throughout Mind Control Delete, despite the fact that the road you take intentionally tries to delay and derail you. If you've been waiting for more of this distinct gunplay, there are at least 8 hours of it here, including infinite and endless modes. VR felt like the perfect evolution of the series when it launched, but this new entry lacks an identity beyond just bringing more Superhot to the fans that crave it. Easy Allies reviews are made possible by generous viewers just like you. If you like what you see, check out patreon.com/easyallies to help us make more. For just $1 a month, you can gain access to weekly updates, spoiler discussions, and exclusive shows. Enjoy the thrill of the hunt? Check out Hunting Huber, a short-run series where each of us takes turns tracking down Michael Huber and mercilessly eliminating him in various games.